Did Stephanie Jones actually have a subpoena for the text messages that were leaked not only to Blake Lively, but to the New York Times? Well, that's what she's claiming now, and we've got to get into it. So there's been a lot of chatter about this, kind of like people who are in the deep, deep tea of Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. And so this came across my timeline. I've seen different things about it. I was waiting to talk about it because I just want to get my hands more about, on the legal implications of this, if this is actually true or not. Something about this whole thing reads very foul, just like everything about this entire case reads very foul. It doesn't just read foul, it is foul. And especially as you look at the evidence and receipts that Justin Baldoni has, it's absolutely ridiculous on its face that these falsehoods and these narratives are being spun about him in Wayfair. But we've got to get into it because I want to bring you guys all the information. And again, this is a moving target right now because as things come, we have a certain set of facts, then more things are leaked, more things come out, and a lot of things are not being it's like Blake Lively's side, and I would see with Stephanie Jones, we haven't seen any of their evidence. Like they just make claims and then anything they try to cobble together, well, it's text messages taken out of context. They don't really support their claim. And then outside of that, there's no other evidence. We've seen people like Isabella Ferrer, who's basically like, I didn't see Justin do anything wrong. And distancing herself from Blake Lively, Insider on her site came out with all this information once it was revealed by Elsrich that all of her on her Instagram, she's like quietly deleting any traces of her with Blake Lively. So it's interesting to say the least, but let's get into the details. And if you know anything, I would say the best way to hit me up is if you can, is through X. Like message me through there. That's the way I've been getting some of the tea that I get. I've even had people try to send me fake stuff about Justin Baldoni, and I just look at it on his face and I'm just like, you're straight up lying. Don't like literally people are trying to undermine Justin Baldoni by sending people like myself and I'm sure other people fake information and hoping that we jump on it and somehow put it out there and turn on Justin Baldoni. But there is nothing, absolutely nothing right now that will have me turn on Justin Baldoni unless there is like a tape confession of him admitting he did all this stuff to her. But even the things that they're claiming that he did to her and that Jamie Heath did to her, they're not sexual harassment by any stretch of the imagination. And it's taken innocuous and benign interactions and spinning it into a narrative of sexual harassment when, quite frankly, you can actually see Blake physically touching people, which I would consider sexual harassment in a sexual way. You heard going on and on about Brandon Sklenar's butt and sexualizing him in front of people, making him turn around to look at his butt. Like, really things that could be put together as sexual harassment. But yet we're supposed to believe all of this nonsense. So there's absolutely nothing to make me believe it. Even if there was a confession tape or something, I would think there was a gun being held to Justin Baldoni's head at this point because it's just egregious. The amount of lies and falsehoods coming out from their side, and just the amount of duress that I know Justin Baldoni was under during this whole saga with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. But let's get into this and see where it takes us, folks. Make sure you guys are subscribed and hit the notification bell. A lot of you guys are telling me you're getting unsubscribed, you don't realize it, and then you go back and check, you're not getting notifications. So you guys make sure that you are subscribed and that you're getting notifications because they're doing very funny things with a lot of content creators right now. So it says, in Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively legal saga, publicist Stephanie Jones rebuts specious allegations that she leaked confidential information. And if you have not seen Candace's expose about Justin Bieber, and I'm getting into that, I'm trying to dig around and find a little bit more information before I pop off about it. But one of the things that she's saying right now that's being allegedly, which is being led by Stephanie Jones, this same Stephanie Jones, is a campaign against Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber, right now to divide them, to separate them, to make them seem crazy, and to break up their family. Because Justin Baldoni right now, I mean, not Justin Baldoni, Justin Bieber, like all these Justins, guys, Justin Bieber is under a attack by the music industry, just like Elvis Presley had been, just like Michael Jackson, in order to keep him tied to Hollywood, in order to force him to stay tied to Hollywood. So I'm not going to give all the details, but if you haven't, you really need to take a look at that. Even if you're not a fan of Candace, or you don't watch Candace, or you don't like Candace, one thing you cannot say about Candace. I personally like Candace, so I believe what she has to say. I don't think she's out. She has no reason to just make up these things. I think the work that she's done, going back to, I mean, there's several different exposés she's done that are excellent. They're thorough. She has receipts. You may not like Candace, but I'm going to tell you now, her receipts are clocking. Okay. The tea is very, very accurate, and that she stands behind what she puts out there. And so, even if you can disregard your bias and just take in the information, you could really see through it. And this is the thing I say about anybody. You may not like where the information is coming from, you may not like the person that it's coming from, but that does not matter. If the information is true, it's true. It does not matter who the source is. Okay. So, and that is where, and especially if they don't have a track record of lying, there's a lot of things people can say about Candace, but not one person can say she's a liar. Not one. I don't care what your feelings are. Show me the lies. Show me where she's made up stuff, where she's been proven to be a liar. I don't care about all the noise around it. Let's talk about the actual information. And she does not miss. Okay. When she swings, she does not miss. And so you must, if you're able to open your mind and not be closed down just because of that, or what the media, or with the narrative, or maybe there's a thing or two you don't like, that that really closes you off from conversation, that closes you off from learning the truth. And so I would just encourage people to open their eyes and listen to these things, and especially in a situation like this, when it pertains to we know with Justin Baldoni, it'd be easy to close your eyes and ears and not believe him if you wanted to go with, how the Hollywood machine and the media machine tried to paint him, and still are trying to paint him. I think that alone, if you to see how they've tried to say any of the people who are speaking out and defending Justin Baldoni, well, we're just all misogynists. Or even if you're on the left, even if you are a Democrat, even if you, doesn't matter where you lie, that you're some alt-right misogynistic person who's trying to pipeline people into some political movement. And it's not that. We've seen how they have tried to lie and smear the content creators. And that's just a small scale of what they are actually capable of. And thank goodness, like people who have brain cells, people who have an IQ above room temperature, are able to see through that. That same way that they're doing that, imagine what they have tried to do to try to smear bigger voices that are speaking out. Imagine what they've tried to do to the actual people who are going through these smear campaigns, and how nobody in the past would believe them. So if they're able to try to do that to people like me, to people like you, or others, some people that you follow who are talking about this case, it just, and what they tried to get started with that, imagine what they would do on a bigger scale. So this is the proof is in the pudding. So let's continue. Justin Baldoni's former publicist, Stephanie Jones, is hitting back at claims that she leaked confidential information as part of an effort to defame Blake Lively. In dual filings Thursday night in U.S. District Court in New York, attorneys for Jones say she produced the sensitive material not as a voluntary act of subterfuge, but in response to a subpoena. A story in the New York Times about the tangle behind the scenes of the film set off a media frenzy by drawing on some of that information, which included text messages from principal figures. Baldoni and Lively co-stars in the hit 2024 film It Ends With Us have been engaged in a multi-front legal battle in recent months. While the film was a left field commercial smash, its production and marketing formed the core of an interconnected and explosive set of legal claims between members of both camps. The saga is on track to make it to the courtroom in early 2026. Lively has maintained that she was harassed. Okay, blah, 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 blah. We know a lot of that. Last December, Jones sued Baldoni, Wayfair, and publicist Melissa Nathan. And just so you know, she sued them on Christmas Eve. This is how nasty, disgusting, low down, degenerate that these people are. And they thought they could get away with it. On Christmas Eve, a married man with children, I don't even care if you don't have kids, if you're not married. Just the fact that they would do that at Christmas time is disgusting on its face. These people have no shame, they have no moral compass, and they will do anything and everything in order to enrich themselves, in order to and if they have to do it on the backs of somebody else, well, that's what they're going to do. Like, who gives a damn about Justin Baldoni? Who cares if it's Christmas Eve? I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I'm entitled. That's the entitlement that these elites and these privileged people have. This is the protection that they're afforded within their little circles, that they think this is okay. They don't have any qualms about trying to destroy a person, but especially on Christmas Eve is so egregious. There are no words for it. But I'll continue. So again, last December, Jones sued Baldoni, Wayfair, and publicist Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel, the latter a former partner at Jones Works, alleging they breached their contracts with Jones Works as part of their efforts to harm Lively. Abel and Wayfair then countersued last month with their attorney Brian Friedman, accusing Jones of leaking and delivering that message, not just in legal filings, but in comments to the press. Wayfair's breach of contract counterclaim primarily rests on specious allegations that Jones and Jones Works leaked confidential information in breach of the services agreements between Jones Works and Wayfair. Lawyers wrote in the memorandum of law filings, one directed to Abel, and then you can read the filing there, the other to Wayfair. This fails on numerous fronts. First, there was no leak. Information was produced pursuant to a subpoena. Wayfair's willfully avoids this reality to advance this publicity, seeking leak narrative, but they cannot change the subpoena. Can y'all learn how to write English better? Like, this sentence takes, this was just way, like, this isn't even framed correctly. Like, who put this damn sentence together? They just be doing the most to confuse people. Deadline has viewed the copy of the subpoena cited by Jones, dated last October, and it orders her to turn over all related pieces of communication, including email and text. But who? See, this is where I'm not believing this. Deadline has viewed a copy of the subpoena, and supposedly page 6, but it says you viewed a copy of the subpoena. Who was the subpoena to? What was the subpoena about in October? There were no lawsuits related to Justin Baldoni or Wayfair. Where are these, like, you see how this does not give any specifics? I'll come back to this because I want to finish reading through it, but let's see if there are actual real specifics. But it says dated last October. You don't even say what date it was. And it orders her to turn over all related pieces of communication, including email and text. Related pieces of communication to what? To who? What case? Who subpoenaed her? What lawsuit is this? You won't even give us a damn date. Where is a copy of the subpoena, please? Don't make these claims. And it's just amazing. 4 months later, now magically, this subpoena appeared out of nowhere, where this subpoena was never mentioned. Wayfair's never seen it. Nobody's ever seen any of this subpoena before. But magically, 4 months now, a publication has seen it, but gives no details. It kind of reminds me of these magical HR complaints that had dates retracted, it had names retracted, blacked out. All of these things, you couldn't figure out where it was coming from when Sony had already said there were no HR complaints, but then magically there were. Somebody tried to leak these HR complaints as though they were real. And what's crazy is that these HR complaints are not included in Blake Lively's filings either. It's just really weird how months after the fact they're able to come up with this stuff. Don't you guys find that crazy? Don't you find that a little strange? Okay. Friedman, who reps Baldoni, Wayfair, Abel, Nathan, and alleged Baldoni fixer Jed Wallace, has also clashed with Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds. The involvement of the two A-list stars from The Times and a handful of seasoned PR operatives and lawyers, along with the film's $350 million in global box office and the bitter irony of its storyline about domestic abuse, was created a spectacle of immense fascination in Hollywood and beyond, has created these writers, y'all. They really, really try to make this sound special. Attorneys for Jones also seized on the contention that Abel, a former partner at Jones Works, that she kept everything above board. On the contrary, they argue using text messages said to be from Abel, the ex-employee was looking to do damage to Jones on the way out the door. No, it doesn't. Lies. Abel's counterclaims are nothing but a masterclass in disassembling and diversion, a nothing is my fault retort that seeks to avoid any accountability for her unethical and unlawful actions revealed in Jones' Works complaint. Abel has no response for her duplicitous campaign to ruin Jones' reputation, steal Jones' Works clients, and with conspirator Melissa Nathan make really good money and be happy, the Abel filing says, citing text messages from the former partner. Instead, she resorts to hyperbolic fantasy, seeking to rewrite history with a series of falsities, attempted character assassinations of Jones, and defamatory accusations about supposed leaks of information, when, in reality, the text messages she wrote on a company phone were produced by the company in response to a lawfully delivered subpoena. Where? Where? Where's the subpoena? This is just a bunch of BS. Guys, just know a lot of this it's written, these lawsuits, these things they're claiming, it's just for PR points. They don't have any. Where is the evidence? Show us the subpoena. Jones' legal team also takes aim at what they describe as Friedman's opportunistic positioning. The reporting that has dominated the news, smear campaigns against Jones, personal jabs, false allegations she was behind the lively smear, etc., have quite literally zero to do with the lawsuit Jones has filed, the lawyer wrote. As these filings make clear, and this brief reinforces in plain terms, Jones' lawsuit isn't one about a movie or the drama surrounding it. It's about whether a former client and a former employee broke their contractual obligations. No, they didn't. From everything we've seen, you broke it. You see how they spin this? Oh, she's a nasty one. Whether it was Abel stealing droves of confidential documents or Wayfair and Baldoni failing to pay fees to Jones Works, it is abundantly clear these defendants are in violation of the law. No, they're not. It's not abundantly clear. That's just you claiming it, and it's a bunch of BS. And a statement provided to Deadline, Marin A. Shaw, an attorney for Jones and Jones Works, decried. Oh, decried. I mean, this is so old. She decried the distraction games in the press being played by Abel and Wayfair. The maneuvers are desperate diversion from the reality that they have no answer for their blatant misconduct and have yet to produce a shred of evidence disproving Ms. Jones' claims. Yes, they have. You've provided no evidence. This is a bunch of BS that you're doing in the press. The very thing, this is the gaslighting of these narcissistic psychopaths. They will say what they're doing is what someone else is doing. Like literally, this entire thing that I am reading to you is what they're doing. And they're trying to project it onto Justin Baldoni. This is them victimizing the victim again, blaming the victim for their own actions, distraction. This is why we need to move into discovery so we can just stop playing these games and really get to the meat and the heart of what was going on. So then you can't cry wolf and blame your victims over and over again. This is my opinion of it. Justin Baldoni is a victim of all of these people. Jamie Heath is a victim. Okay. Jennifer Abel is a victim of all of these people. Melissa Nathan, Wayfair Studios are the victims. And here you got, guys, if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, if you've ever had any experience with a narcissist, you know this is how they play. This is what they do. And they don't have an end point because it's like they do things in the moment without thinking long term that okay, well, we're going to continue with this case and evidence is going to bear out whether you're telling the truth or not. They don't care that the truth will eventually come out. It's like, let me win the PR battle today and that's good enough. That's what I see from it, but it really grinds me because I have seen this happen. I've had this personally happen to me. Just straight up lies. This just lies. Just and they don't care. They don't care about the truth and they're hoping people just believe the lies. And a lot of times people just go with the lie and then they never fact check. They never want to do the follow up and see what the truth actually is. But unfortunately for you, boo boo, we gonna follow through. Um, Okay, so this is a desperate diversion from the reality. They have no answer for their blatant misconduct, and they have yet to produce a shred of evidence for disproving Miss Jones' claims. They may wish it weren't the case, but the fact remains that Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and Miss Abel brazenly and repeatedly breached their contractual obligations to Miss Jones and Jones' works, shamelessly framing her as the culprit behind the smear campaign they themselves created, targeting Miss Lively. That invisible smear campaign. Nobody can find it. Nobody can see it. There's no evidence of it. But it's happening. Sure, sis. The Jones filings comes the same day Lively's team submitted its reply in support of her motion to dismiss Baldoni's amended complaint of earlier this month. The amended complaint is in response to an attempt by Reynolds to exit the defamation and extortion case. Oops, sorry about that. The new filings rejects Baldoni's amended complaint, which alleged that Reynolds and Lively worked together and engaged in a coordinated effort to exaggerate benign interactions in service of a false narrative that Lively had been sexually harassed, and in a 42-page memorandum of law filed April 1st. Unable to identify any actionable statements by Ms. Lively, they argue she is liable for things her husband allegedly said in 2025. Wives are not responsible for their husband's words. It is incredible that Baldoni, a person who calls himself a feminist, would take such a position. In today's filing said, shut up. Patrick Hypes contributed to this report. Who the hell is Patrick Hypes? We don't give a damn because this is a bunch of BS. So let's go back to this BS that I talked about. Hold on. Where is it at? Where's it at about the subpoena? Did I pass it, guys? Did I pass it? Information, blah, blah, blah. Where's the part where they said that they looked at these subpoenas? Okay. Deadline has viewed a copy of the subpoena cited by Jones, dated last October, and it orders her to turn over all related pieces of communication, including email and text. I'm sorry. What does this not say? Again, let's outline until I could be wrong. Maybe there is 4 months later, this magical subpoena. She was allowed, she had to turn over all of this to Blake Lively because there was a magical subpoena against Jennifer Abel and Justin Baldoni that allowed her to breach her contract and to illegally obtain these, but because she didn't really do it that way. There was a magical lawsuit in last October that required that she do this. But look, Deadline has viewed a copy of the subpoena. Where's the subpoena? It's not in any of the filings. Dated last October, no specific date. Dated last October. What day? Last October. It orders her to turn over all related pieces of communication, including email and text. Related communication to what? About who? It was a broad, subpoena with all the communications about who? Who is this subpoena for? What does it subpoena? Whose records are you able to take based on this subpoena? Was it Jennifer Abel? Was it Wayfarers? This just doesn't make any sense. There's no specific information, just a bunch of BS about how it's just a publicity statements about how what they're accusing Miss Jones of doing. They're actually, and she is innocent, and but you don't have anything, no meat, no teeth, nothing. Is this another thing of ball busting without teeth? Does Stephanie Jones like ball busting with no teeth, just like gumming it down, just like Blake Lively? Or we don't know if our good sis Ryan Reynolds was the one that sent that. He does seem like he likes to bust a lot of balls with absolutely no teeth. Okay. He likes to do that with a lot of men. It just seems like, based on his history, I don't know. I'm just looking at the facts. But yeah, I'm gonna need you to clean this up, Deadline. You're not giving me anything. You're not giving anything. You are not, and actually, this entire thing, this entire statement can be just taken out. It's almost like it was just put in here, but you see how it doesn't actually connect anything? It doesn't go into any specifics. And this is why this is reading like a bunch of BS. I think, let me see. Actually, this video, how long is this video? Oh, Lord. This video is long enough. So I'm going to go into the page 6 one and see what they're claiming about it. But yeah, this isn't right. Something's not going on. But guys, if you want to support my channel, you can always go to realmelanieking.com. The link will be below directly to my team Justin merch. And I show you guys the new one I'm coming out with. Actually, I'm just going to post it. It should be on the screen right now. Once I post it, this is going to be some of my new merch that I have coming out that you can pick up. Take a look at it if you want to support my channel. Also, if you want to support me and follow me on social media, all of my links will be below in the description box. And with that, ciao, I'm gonna see you on the next one.